Go.
Hey guys, we are back on All Things Cinema, and I'm joined by Nona Prince once again to discuss a couple of films that we recently watched. And why I chose these films is because these are the two films which are the recent couple of Malayalam films I had seen, and also these are the two films which had polarizing effect on me personally. Like I had a lot of expectations from Turbo for it being a Mammootty movie, and then there was another film called Guruvayoor Ambalanadayil. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, I went in for that film without any expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I just thought that the comparison between the two experiences would be interesting, and to compare notes with Nona, who also has seen and reviewed these two films. So Nona, welcome back to the channel. Hope you are
Thank you. Thank you for having
doing
me.
Hope you are doing as good as Malayalam cinema in 2024.
I don't think anything can do as good as Malayalam cinema this year.
Well, I just hope that at least Indian cricket team can do that well in the World Cup.
Oh man,
Uh,
let's not go there.
but yeah, so people who have joined us, thank you for coming in, and so let's start. Let's dig right into this. So I watched Turbo just yesterday, and I went in with full blown expectations because not just because it's a Mammootty film, but also because of the recent record of Mammootty, having done such amazing work, such diverse, body of work. And then for him to do a full blown mass entertainer, I was excited, like, because so I was thinking that there would be some substance in it. There can't be just blind sort of a massy entertainer. There has to be something in it which keeps you in the film. But to my utter disappointment, and that's what the thumbnail says, I felt it was more style than substance. So I don't know how you felt. What are your first initial thoughts?
I think I went in pretty much knowing what to expect because mass is still something, Malayalam mass as in the hero, celebration of a hero mass where hero can do anything and people fly. That is still something Malayalam cinema hasn't delivered like bang on,
Right.
comparatively to a Telugu or a Tamil film, where each high moments work and it all like lose like I'm in a minority because there are a lot of people who will disagree. They there are movies like Lucifer and
Mm.
which Bhishma Param also in a sense. Bhishma Param is not actually that, but definitely there'll be some other films, but it has definitely not worked for me on in that level. So I knew going in, having seen the trailer, what to expect. I think what I noticed was the filmmaking, the shots, the how well they are conducted, the action, the stunts. There's a lot of, you could see there's a lot of work which has gone behind planning those. So I think those action set pieces really worked well in the film, and Mammootty being there present, doing all of, like, at least it looked like he's doing most of it, and that's, I think,
Right.
achievement in itself. That if he did those or not, or stunt double. I think someone shared me behind the scene of the stunt double who just looks like him actually in that same attire and everything. So that was pretty interesting. So I think in that since watching in a theater, it was quite packed for me.
Mm.
It doesn't happen mostly, not fully, but I would say 50, 55%, 60%. And I could sense they wanted to clap and cheer. It's like some people actually next to me were drunk. I could smell. So they were just trying to boost up, but the film was not giving them enough to do it. And
Right.
I think if in a massive film, if the audience is just sitting silent, maybe they're just taken aback by the film, or they're just not enjoying. You can sense the pulse of the audience. In that sense, yeah, I think the story, the plot of the with the villain and everything is so predictable and so
Yeah.
tiring, and you could see it coming from miles away, and it has
Yeah.
nothing, it has no impact. It's just,
Right.
I could have actually enjoyed a film just about the misadventures of this character, because he just does things, and people, there is substance in that, that whatever he does, it goes wrong against him, and then he keeps running, he's scared of his mother. So that whole premise is very interesting.
Yeah,
But the moment they start with that, spoilers, are we getting spoilers?
we can. It's been
Good,
almost a
right?
week since the movie came,
Like,
right?
not like too much solo. Basically, then get to the bank scam, and this
Yeah.
thing they have to expose. And like they could have, I actually, the first time, where the guy he knows,
Mm.
in the bank, he get finds out, I thought that day itself he'll be killed, and then he'll get into this, like, what has happened, why people behind him, you know and then it didn't happen, and then it stretched out, and him finding out separate plot going on, then him and then his mother, which was a great part of the film, funny, but then just wasting time, it felt like. And then we get to the villain, and the villain, the same thing, which is unnecessary. And I also
Yeah.
felt like if the villain didn't do anything, he would have been, nothing, like he would be in power, not what he faced by the end. He literally, dragged the hero, come beat me up,
Yeah.
dragged him to, foil his plans. So that writing was just too clunky and
So,
weak, and it
you
never worked.
you think this has got to do with the writing or the screenplay? Because I thought, because of how the screenplay was written, they give away their cards way too early in the first half, right? And then you know what's gonna end up in second half, because even though it's there is that whole bank scam, and the revelation of the villain, how whatever they show in the beginning of the film, the opening of the film, how they connect those things. So I just thought that
What was the
even
opening
if
of the
they,
film?
like, the that random people in the family in Chennai, they get hanged by those goons.
Oh,
The
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I almost forgot about that.
so
You know
that
the
was like, yeah, it's kind of like, so I was it kind of took me. So if you remember, in Manjumal Boys. So that movie also begins with a very random setup, and somebody at a restaurant eating something and
not
seeing something, and then
not
they
a
come
great
back to it.
comparison.
No, no, no. I'm just talking about establishing something and then
Got
coming
it,
back
got
to
it.
it at the
Yeah.
end. So here also, this random family gets killed in Chennai, and then you go back to Idiki, where this whole film is set up in Kerala, and then you come back to the life comes full circle when you come back to it, when the bank scam is opened up. So I was thinking that even though they had bit of ingredients here and there, maybe it's because of the screenplay that they revealed their cards way too soon in first half, so the second half became very boring, flat, and sort of predictable.
I think what I have heard from the public, at least for the people who really enjoyed the film, for them second half was much better, because with all the action, and with the chase sequence and all of that. But I feel, see, it's a basic problem of writing a good villain for a hero. If the conflict is not strong enough, it will never work, because the harder the conflict, the more challenging it is. It's much fun to watch the hero take up the challenge.
Yeah.
But what they did was, and knowing what happens at the end with that kind of a cliffhanger to the sequel, that could have actually, going that direction, they could have actually worked in a way that you don't reveal the villain at all in this film. Make it challenging for the hero, because at no point it's personal for the hero. you know so
Yeah.
that was missing, first of all. And why he's, act like, it should have been that the final reveal, the ending should have been the villain's reveal. Oh, now the next film, because Mammootty's character took down his henchman, or his kind of has come in the way of the villain, and now the villain will come after him. That could have been an interesting, kind of what Vikram ended with,
Yeah.
that the big villain Rolex is now. So this film really failed at when, you say that this villain controls whole Chennai, or whole
Mhm.
Tamil Nadu is under him, and all of that. And then you're building it up as if Mammootty is going to be such a big guy, but he's actually nothing. He's so stupid. His plans, he cannot do anything. He has to go everywhere himself to do the work.
No,
His
and he's
first
so,
henchman itself is like going killing people. Like, come
yeah.
on, like, if you have to build someone so big, that show him, that big.
The
Just
only thing
just
they
a
tried
random was one
was,
one random one random thing I saw. I wanted to talk in my video, but I spoiler, so I didn't say. Like, Mammootty's character, So they build up the villain that no one knows him. He stays away from the limelight. Mammootty's character Googles him, and there's a clear picture of him from the inside the car,
Yeah.
a stylish picture. And I'm like, if he's trying to hide himself and not be in limelight, he should not able to see his picture on Google just like that.
Yeah, and it's like he's so, first of all, he's so heavily dependent on Vincent. Actually, that guy had more menace of a look
Yeah,
for a villain
yeah,
than the main villain. And secondly, like you pointed out, so the only thing probably they tried to show uh, villainous was that the sword fighting that he does. That that's the
yeah.
only sort of weaponry I thought the villain had. Otherwise, everything.
Dude, Rajbi Shetty is a great actor. We have seen
Yeah,
that. This
yeah.
is one of his worst performance. It's like
I
badly
mean,
written,
see,
as well as the
he
performing choices were.
he can only do so much with what's on paper, right? Even a good actor can only lift it so much if the writing is poor, right? So I think because he's a good actor, you have seen other work. That means that you can blame the writing more than the performance, right?
But I would say even like there were moments where he was delivering the dialogues, and I could understand why they're giving him a lot of English, dialogues to
Right.
deliver. Like I could see him taking a pause, trying to be a
Mm.
badass. Like I could like see through his performance, his choices, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a direction or his interpretation of the character, what it was, but physically
For
he's not,
No, see,
that.
physically also. So again, I don't want to compare, but these thoughts just come to your mind when you're watching the film. So if you watch Jailer, right? So even in Jailer, the main villain was not a big built guy. He was also
Yeah,
kind of like,
Vinayakan,
yeah, he was
but he's
also same.
menacing. Yeah,
No, I'm talking about the build, like physicality wise, the villain was also of the same stature, and he was
yeah.
also not. He didn't even do the sword fighting and all. But he the performance that he put up was because of good writing and him being a good actor, right? So here also, this guy is a good actor, as you said, but it's the writing which failed him, right?
Like going back to the same point, you need to have a strong villain for your hero to,
Yeah.
look more cool. And I think here they just didn't do any inventiveness. Like
Mm.
there could have been thousands of possibilities you could do. Like, and I know I even said in my review that if unintentionally you made him stupid and funny, like I was laughing at some of this plot choice, and you could have actually made it intentionally funny that he is doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
Just like our main character, he's also leads to everything going wrong, and
Mm.
his decisions only as leading to his downfall. Like I don't know, maybe that would have been a separate film altogether, but
Yeah.
you need a strong conflict and villain, where
Mm.
that's why I think it's really boring to go through all that, what's
Yeah.
happening with the MLAs. Like I could see what they're trying to reference
Yeah.
from the real world, but it doesn't everything has to seamlessly help the narrative to be more entertaining, and where the
Yeah.
hero comes in the play more. It totally feels like the hero is separate and the whole this angle is separate. Like what is his connection with the politics and the MLAs? Like
Yeah.
there's no connection at all, so it doesn't work only on the writing level itself.
So George says no style, no substance. It is an expected usual mass fare from the director. Mammootty used to do these roles decades ago. Does them today to humor the fans that haven't moved on. So how much do you agree with this? Like, do you think this film is more like a fan service for his loyal fans? Probably.
What I've heard, from interviews and all, like how his thought process kind of changed. I think Prithviraj said during the COVID times where he wanted to
Mm.
do, different stuff, and I think this is part of that different stuff. And making wise, I all still feel making wise it's actually breaking ground, where one of the best I would say in Indian cinema chase sequence. The other chase sequence comes to my mind is from Bhave Joshi, which was like I would say a car chase, like car or bike chase
Yeah.
sequence.
Yeah.
I don't know about running. I think running chase sequence is one from which is that film where SRK is the villain. People were sharing it on social media some time ago.
SRB is the villain.
Kiran, that one.
Oh, the Dar.
Dar, Dar, yeah. So that one we were sharing a lot. I don't know. There'll be more. I think the Dhoom 2 one also, where they
Yeah.
chase Ritik. So they're cool moments, but as a car chase sequence, the money they spent, and I could follow it so well. All the stunts, the car maneuvering and people falling off, the stalls they're destroying. It feels
Mhm.
very, they planned it well, and it feels really good watching it on big screen.
Right. I mean, it's also. I think it's you have to give it to them for the confidence that they had. That just because they had Mammootty on board for this project, they must have been confident that even though it's a brainless sort of mass entertainer, it's predictable. They might have been confident that this can still work. But as you said, probably Malayalam industry is still not there in terms of making a massy film which doesn't have loopholes. I mean, you know what I mean, right?
I don't think it's about loop. See, I think it's a art form. Doing mass is not like anyone can do it, and but we may try to make better films. No, it's that build up, right? Like from like whether a hero falls and he wakes up again, he gets back. The timing of the music to the beats of the hero walking the slow motion. Even that is I felt was off because I was getting that high. Oh, the slow motion walk and the music hits when the danger sign
Mhm.
is there,
Yeah.
and then that punch doesn't come, and then we
Mhm.
cut. That editing is a big thing, part of it.
Yeah.
Maybe the choices they made, they thought it is working, but for me, every time I felt a bit of high, it didn't work out. It just moved on, or the music changed. And I still go back to like RRR is like a biggest example, but
Mhm.
any other film which has a massy movement. Master is a film I really enjoy. I feel they understood what they're trying to make and
Yeah.
they
Right.
got everything right. I really enjoy Master a lot.
Same. Same.
So
Same here.
it's like because hero villain set up really well. What's happening? What's the conflict? I think a massive film, needs to be very simple and straightforward. If
Mhm.
you what I think what this film did is they try to bank scam and this character and his him giving what was her name, the girl's name, uh
In this one, uh,
Indu.
Indulekha. Yeah.
Induleka. So Indu, he's following five of them, and the dad breaks up, and then she leaves him on Chennai, and he goes there, and he's separate plot. Like they just convoluted too many things, and takes
Yeah.
away from the mass because you want to focus on the main character and his journey. I think that's very
But
important.
but again, as you said, that it didn't feel personal for the main protagonist also, right? It's
Never.
his friend's girlfriend, right? And then his friend.
Not even I would like they didn't even spend time on that relationship for me to care when he
Yeah,
dies
yeah, yeah,
later.
absolutely. He
I
just
never
shows
because
up in
I
yeah.
was against him because he was actually cheating. He had five
Yeah.
other girls he was talking to. As an audience member, I'm never
No, but
feeling
then
for him anything.
he did say, right, that all that was way before he met her. I think he cleared that up.
I don't know.
I remember
Maybe
because
maybe he
he
did, but
yeah,
the way he played it out, like when he's
yeah,
caught on that, but he behaves as if he's caught. It's not
yeah.
like, but again,
No, and
it's not his film I'm watching. I don't care about
yeah.
that.
No,
You know.
and one of the biggest beef I had with this film was, so like how you said that so when he goes to the bank, right, when he tries to tell her what's going on, and she's working and she ignores him. Why on earth you just get up and go away? Like, can't
Yeah,
you just blabber the words?
dude. Even when he's chased after he guns, bullets are fired on him, and he just reaches the building
Yeah,
and asks the mother, all good, all good. I'll go. I'll wait for him." And he's calling on the mobile phone. Arey, everything is all right. Don't worry about me. And then suddenly a goon shows up, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like it felt like they shot that sequence first, and then they
yeah.
thought, "Okay, let's have a scene where he's attacked." you know
I felt so helpless in that scene when he goes to bank and can't talk to her. I mean, it's if it's so goddamn important, just tell her there, man. She's not even
and
cutting you. She's
it's not
just
as if she's on the phone or talking and
yeah,
busy. She's just not listening to you. Just keep talking.
yeah. It's not as if she's calling the cops or she's calling the security to take
Yeah.
you out. She's just sitting quietly. She's doing her work. Just fucking blabber the words. And these are the kind of loopholes I was talking about. Like even if you're even if it's not a mass entertainer, or even if it is, these kind of cinematic liberties which sometimes people take,
It's
it
not. I
just
would say it's a mature filmmaking. It's not even
immature.
cinematic
Yeah,
liberty.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
immature. Like it's like you understand what you want to try to,
Yeah,
what's the like what you want to make out of the scene, that he's unable to reach her.
right.
But the way you choose to do it makes no sense. It's not about
Absolutely.
logic. It's about that makes no sense that he's just sitting and not saying anything.
Sayyid says this movie needed a director like Jeetu Madhavan from Avesham or Anwar Rashid. They know how to make a mass film that suits Malayalam cinema style. You think that other than Vaishak, these two or any other option would have made the same film? Of course, they would have made it differently, but the same story screenplay would have still worked with another director.
I don't know. Maybe it's all about, maybe they cut out the fluff part, or maybe they
Mm.
make it more streamlined. But I think the story had potential. I would like to see this character,
Yeah.
in doing other, because he's a very goofy, very gets angry, hot headed, but he's cute, he's innocent. It's a
Mm.
fun character, to have on screen. So I would
Yeah.
love to him to see more journey, or if he meets other, different characters, interesting
Mm.
characters. The ending, you understood who it was on the phone.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that for me was like, so I had a couple of moments which I enjoyed in the film. one one was when she says Tony Stark has died and she starts crying and he's like, "Who died?"
The moment
And
I saw that joke coming, because the moment they show her watching the scene
right,
where the Tony Stark gets, I'm like, yeah, now she's because when he called, I was expecting this joke, but it was a good joke. There were many
that
such moments where
yeah,
they throw you off.
yeah, and the other one was of course at the end when you hear Vijay Sethupath's voice and
Yeah,
you are like, okay, at least in part two they have a better villain maybe in front of him, than what they have
yeah,
shown here. So that was interesting. But other than that, I mean, as I started this stream, I went with many expectations given what he has done recently with so many different directors and films which had a lot of depth and substance. I was just hoping that even though this is going to be a mass entertainer, it will still have enough in it for me to be, attentive throughout the film. But I just kept using my phone, and it that is the biggest giveaway. If you are using your phone in a film, that means it's predictable, it's flat, and you are not really. And the runtime is 2 hours, 30 minutes, and more. I think so that was also, as you said, a lot of fluffy stuff was there which could have been edited and all that. And like, how many action sequences are too many action sequences? Like, one by one it keeps coming. It just, there's no end to it. Like how Joes also says at the end, when the swordmen come, he
yeah.
himself says there's no end to this. And that's what I was feeling, like, oh my
Like
god.
there are many moments meta, and I'm sure there's some inside jokes at moments, but yeah, like they could have gone more that towards that side. Make it self-referential more. Just make fun of yourself, what you're doing. And maybe that would have been more enjoyable film than the whole this dark plot, which
Yeah,
happens and the banks are involved and all of that.
yeah. And see, this is what even Sayyid is saying. Just text her a message saying all the important things. But I think she blocked him. Maybe that's why he was not able to text or something.
Yeah.
Also tells Joes by
See,
the phone. Yeah,
this is a very basic thing, that they will call and say, I have something important, meet me. Are just say it. This is something Raj and DK really, reinvent on these things and
yeah,
tackle
yeah,
these things. They
yeah,
always go opposite direction.
yeah.
What we really think, like this should happen here, and they do it.
Right. I think they think consciously like that. Okay, what would a generic director do here?
Yeah.
Let's go 360-degree opposite
Like
of
all
that.
these, I think that's where you have to, use your instincts, and try to do something here refreshing. That okay, now we are stuck. I So basically, what's the scene? That he tries to reach her, but he cannot, and he wants to meet Joes, and before that, he's killed. Like how you can do it more inventively, that makes sense. That is more shocking. That is more, innovative in how it is done, and it doesn't feel like a drag. Like, what's the point? Like, you can see from the first moment, the moment he tries to, get more into it, he gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it's so obvious, at least do something different to make it, stand out.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt that they kept taking convenient direct
Yeah,
choices. You know, they kept making.
there's a lot of that.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I just and that's where I wanted to compare this with a film which I had no expectations from, but it pleasantly surprised me, which is Guruvayoor Ambalanadayil. Uh, what about that film? Like we have talked at length about Turbo. Was that so? You said you didn't go with any expectations for Turbo because you know what you're going for. But the other one, like sort of an uh, um, like a throwback to Priyadarshan days and that kind of a comedy. Uh, did you expect that, and were your expectations met or exceeded?
I wasn't expecting Priyadarshan, because from the trailer it felt like they are hiding something.
Yeah,
They kind of give you the chaos, but they're hiding something, so you're waiting for that. And the film, I like, they don't waste any time. Within the
yeah,
setup, the whole idea of just having
yeah,
like brother-in-laws having so much admiration for each other, that itself is a great plot to just
yeah,
delve into. Even the the wife or the sister is upset, like, come on, let it be. That itself a great plot. And then over that, the twist of the girl he is kind of want to move on from is the wife of the guy who's trying to make you move on. So that itself is a great plot. I think the revelation when it happens, like, even that, I think I was looking at my watch to see when this moment happened, because they don't waste any time. The
yeah.
moment, like, I think it was just before that, and some
Interval.
sequence where I thought, oh shit, what if they are the same? And then
Yeah,
they reveal it's the same quickly. And then they reveal that they have seen each other. They don't plan those things. They fake out that, will they see each other? No. Will they see?
yeah,
No. It's not like that. Maybe that could have been a separate film where that's the climax, where they find out,
mm,
oh, it's the same girl. And then by the interval also, they like, it's very well written that both of them are together. Then this guy wants to run away because he don't want to makes him sad. The brother-in-law,
yeah,
doesn't want to get married, but the brother-in-law is getting everything to make him be in the marriage. And nothing works out at the end. And in the interval, it crosses. The guy wants to get married, but the brother-in-law doesn't want the marriage to work.
yeah,
And everything that happened in the first half comes back in the second half. So it's like very well written. But I think where,
mm,
for me, the steam lost was in the second half, and the whole climax where I felt the chaos was kind of manufactured. It
mm,
didn't naturally fit in, and I felt they just, like, I think Priyadarshan, what great it did was, in his films, everything was set up from the beginning. Each
yeah,
character is gonna bring in is set up from the beginning.
right,
They are part of the first half also. But here I felt like they just brought these extra characters in the second half just
mm,
for the sake of it. So at the end you can create chaos. Like, the doctor character, they go to, that you
yeah,
liked her, and he says first no, and then suddenly he becomes this rowdy guy, and he comes and he
yeah,
wants
yeah,
to
yeah.
bash
That
all of
felt
them.
artificial. Yeah,
Yeah, so it all feels like you're forcing it to create that. And the girls were just sidelined. They were just ignored there. I think Anaswara, the bride, didn't even have dialogues in the last 15 20 minutes. Both of them, actually. Even she, in the house, when she says, I'm sorry, and this happened, we didn't know. And then Prithviraj looks at her, and then we cut to the wedding day. And after that, she gets kidnapped. And then
and
she's
and she
sent back.
just
No one gives a damn.
and she just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah. And then Prithvi is like, see, they got married. I'm sorry. And she's in puzzled, looking puzzled, as if she's angry. And then the movie ends, you know? Like, you just cut out, it feels like you just cut out her part and she's irrelevant, let's forget. And she's like, stuck in limbo.
Mm.
We'll never get to know what she really felt about that. And I actually thought they'll go to that.
Yeah,
This is the
yeah, yeah.
same person who made Jai 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 Hey.
Right.
And it's very sad that that I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe they were doing something, it didn't work out. They cut things out. I was told before that don't expect a JJ Hey,
Mm.
expect just a comedy entertainer. But you know uh, directors thought process cannot change so drastically. The whole thing,
Yeah.
how deep Jay is still being a comedy entertainer, and you
Mm.
suddenly don't even give your female characters. It's not that they are strong female characters; they have a presence in the story. They are part of the narrative, which in a strong way, they are actually kind of driving the plot. But suddenly you just let them be and don't even address that and just focus on creating this chaos, which actually never worked for me. The whole
Yeah.
chaos is I just felt the film should have been within these four characters, and especially Basil and Prithvi, and we just spread it too thin with all these characters to take care of the comedy and left these characters out.
Yeah, Basil and Prithvi, what did you make of their bromance? Like, what did
Oh,
it feel? Of course, performance-wise, it came so good, and it was very funny. But at any point, did you feel it was going like a little too much? Like it felt forced upon, or was it like in enough amount that like before the conflict happened?
so what happens is we are reading subtitles, right? So sometimes a lot we don't understand. Like I think one film, Varshangala Shesham,
Hmm.
is a film where I really liked it, but I heard a lot of people saying the dialogues were cringe. So I can not judge the dialogues in the delivery because
Hmm.
I'm just reading the subtitles. So subtitles is working for me. And even here, I would say maybe there were some moments where I felt okay, a little bit over, but I felt the balance was right because they were going for that little over the top kind of comedy between them. Because I think that's Basil is amazing at it, and I think it helped Prithvi also kind of lose himself.
Yeah.
To it. I think if it was more subtle, maybe comedy wouldn't have worked that well. Maybe this over, love between them, that's what make cracks you up. That, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah, no, actually, see, in a funny comedy film, you can still kind of get it. But like you gave a good example because in Varshangalakka Shesham, even I felt cringed out. Even though you said we can't understand the Malayalam dialogues in its
Yeah.
authenticity, we go by the subtitles, but still it felt way too melodramatic and way too
No, melodramatic, yes. The film is very melodramatic, but I didn't
yeah.
mind it. I just,
No, like
I think having seen Hidyam, I was like, okay, this is the director's, kind of
but it was
forte where he
like a
wants to
little
go
too
there.
cheesy for me. Like it was too sweet and too cheesy. And here in this film, you can still get that over the top thing because it's a comedy film and it had it like it worked in a few moments and they were genuinely funny. But when the bromance went a little too much, those moments also you could like pinpoint and you could feel okay, let's get to the point now, and you keep waiting when the revelation happened, like how it's gonna pan out. So for me, like I just felt that in this film, somebody has said that this film has also ended up being a blockbuster. I think that's got more to do with the dynamics between Prithvi and Basil that's in the performance and
No,
because I think they have come for the first time together, right?
I think so. But I would say there's more to this film. Something to note is that, there's a lot of inside jokes
Mm.
referencing. I think in the dialogues or something they mention a dialogue from Drishyam.
Yeah,
Like Drishyam, I could tell, but the dialogue from other films and a lot of inside references. Malayalis would get more, and
and
I
there
think
is a
that's where.
reference. There's one more reference to some old Prithvi film that was shot in the same temple, right?
Yeah, that is the climax part is direct
Yeah,
reference,
yeah.
but there's I think even there's some mention of Adu Jeevitam. There's a dialogue which is off screen, so I think they added later. So I think
Okay.
the guy who comes from abroad, no, he does some mistake when he puts him in the pit. I think he just
Right.
walks away, and I think the dialogue he says it better if you had gone there and become a slave, like
Oh yeah,
caught
yeah,
by
yeah,
someone
yeah.
and become a.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's
Now,
a
now I
line like
remember.
this.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
there are a lot of. I think that's where this film kind of may not travel.
Mm,
Because there's so much references. The premise is very interesting. This is a kind of film, that has a remake potential where it can
mm,
work as a remake because this film is too niche for the Malayalis, and if it's remade with the same storyline of two brother-in-laws and what follows in a different setting,
mm.
in a different language, whatever, it would work better for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't feel like. I think the maker should just think how they want to make a film. It should not be based on if I want to cross boundaries or not. It should automatically does do, if it's required or needed and deserved.
There's one more that is Nandanam reference, and same
Yeah,
actor appeared as Krishnan in Guruvayoor, the guy whom they carry at the end when
yeah,
when
yeah,
the
yeah.
when that doctor
So
thinks that he's Venu.
yeah, but what happened? There were three girls sitting next to me, and I could understand that's a reference because they were just screaming. So when that guy showed up, they were screaming. So I understood. Okay, this is some reference. And then later, when Prithvi goes inside the temple and he looks at the drone going in, and they were just screaming. Oh, like, oh shit, they're doing it. They're doing it. So I understood all this is reference, which I would not get. Yes, Yogi Babu was wasted. There was no point of
Yeah,
his
it was
character.
it was a pleasant surprise to see him there. But like I could understand like him being from Chennai and speaking Tamil here. But again, like it was loosely written character and didn't really add much value or I don't know. I mean, I agree
The
with
ending kind of remind me of which was that? Chup, no, not Chupke Chapke.
Halchal, Halchal.
Halchal, where the wedding they have to get
Yeah,
the
yeah,
like
yeah.
that is
The
like an
Mangal Sutra, yeah.
iconic, and like all the parties involved, you are very well know their motivations and why they are here.
Yeah.
The two sides. Whereas here, like I don't even care about this doctor and Yogi Babu's character, and like I don't care like really. I actually care about Prithvi Raj and his wife. Like that's the dynamic I'm more interested to know what has
And and
happened.
and and Prithviraj doesn't care about his wife getting kidnapped.
Yeah, I really, dude, it really feels off at moments because in a chaotic moment where there's so many people, it's very hard to edit really well the
Yeah.
continuity, and it felt like you're going to. I couldn't understand, is Prithvi changed after talking to the wife? Is he trying to save it or go against it? Like
Yeah, I also felt the
just
same. I also
weird.
felt that maybe she talked to him and he's on board with the fact that his friend is getting married with his sister now.
Yeah.
So and when he again after that they cut to the temple scene, he again gives that cold look to Basil's character, and I was like, why? Like if
I
he's
thought
fine with
he's trying to fake it so he takes all the people against the marriage away and then the marriage can happen. I really thought that's what's happening.
I just
And then
thought
the
that he
uncles
is
came in the middle, the
yeah.
plot. Like, how did
Oh
uncle
God.
know that I
Yeah.
that
The
was
letter.
so
The
out
letter.
of the
I
way.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that letter kept coming up, and the uncles were made villain. uh,
And honestly, you don't. The film never make Prithviraj learn what his mistake is.
yeah.
you know
Did
Even
you
if the
know?
letter was real or not, he doesn't learn the lesson. Even Basil's character doesn't learn a lesson that he tried to, like she says, right after that breakup, he blamed me for everything, and I couldn't even go anywhere with the friends.
Yeah.
No one wanted to talk to me, so they never talk about he just says sorry at the end. That's not enough, as when watching the film.
So of course, Halchal was a remake of a Malayalam film,
Yep.
which I knew, but that's again a reference
Screenmaker.
to. So people have pointed it out that it was sort of a shout out to Godfather more than Halchal.
Got
Uh,
it.
and
But I
even
have
I think,
to, say this, that a big thank you to Priyadarshan, because he made these remakes at a time where there were no subtitles or there
yeah,
were no OTT platforms, so we could enjoy these stories
yeah,
because of this remake is also part of our lives, not
yeah.
just Malayalis. So and of course there'll be cultural differences also in the films, but it's in a unique way. All of us were together enjoying this in our childhood and remembering it.
Mm,
So for you, it's Godfather, where the
mm,
ending is inspired from. For us, it's
mm.
Halchal, because that's how we remember. At least we remember, That's the point.
Do you know about this film?
Yeah, it's running 40 kilometers from here, so I don't think I'll be able to go. Uh, but yeah, I saw the trailer. It looks interesting. Again, a
God,
cop drama, a thriller. So let's see.
Godfather is the longest running Malayalam film, 400 days. Man,
Wow,
the longest running
can't even
is.
imagine nowadays.
But yeah, like
And
even
OTTs don't have a film for 400 days now anymore.
I mean, even with all these loopholes we have discussed, I still came out of theaters, still being okay with the film. I laughed a bit, and it was the first time I went to watch a Malayalam film with somebody who was a Malayali and who knew the
Okay.
language. So that was an enjoyable experience. And that's the thing, like, both these films have flaws. There's a lot of style over substance, Guruvayoor and Turbo. But the irony is, I went in expecting a lot from Turbo and I was disappointed. I went in expecting nothing from Guruvayoor and I was pleasantly surprised at times. So yeah, so that's it about these two films that we wanted to discuss in this podcast today. Uh, Thanks to all the people who joined in with their comments. Thank you, Nona, for taking out time,
My
and
pleasure.
uh, we'll probably wait for Ashmita to take out time as well at some point in the future. And it's been a while since we all three did something together. So
Yep. Yep.
hope to see you soon. So thank you, people, for if you're watching, if you're still watching, thank you for coming till the end with us. And please subscribe, like, comment, dislike if that's what you think of this. It's up to you. Thank you. See you very soon.